The White House is preparing for key economic numbers that could determine whether the country is headed for a recession. Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes is following all of this for us. And Nancy, what will be the focus for this administration this week?
Well, Jerika, as we know, inflation and the economy are already the biggest issues for voters. And now the White House is really bracing for a full week's worth of major economic data. Let's start with what they're watching for today. Coming in the next couple of hours, we're expecting the monthly consumer confidence numbers. These figures are usually a strong signal of where the economy is headed. And we know that consumer confidence already fell sharply last month, so we're watching for that. And then tomorrow, the Federal Reserve is meeting and widely expected to hike short-term rates for the fourth time this year by another 3/4 of a point. Now, that's designed to rein in inflation, but it's also going to drive up the cost of borrowing money. So think mortgages and car loans. So this is something that is going to have a real-life impact for a lot of Americans. Now, on Thursday, and this is the biggie, we get second quarter gross domestic product results. GDP actually fell in the first quarter, and a second straight decline is usually a warning sign of a recession. And then next month, we get the latest price index figures that tell us if inflation is still at an astronomical 9.1% or perhaps it has finally peaked. Now, the president addressed this yesterday. He argued there is no way that the economy is headed for a recession. He said unemployment is still so low, people are still investing. So he doesn't believe a recession is on the horizon. That's something that has been echoed by many top administration officials, including the Treasury Secretary. He's also been pointing, Jerika, to gas prices, which have fallen 32 cents in the past few weeks, although they're still above $4 a gallon for most Americans in this country.
And Nancy, another story that we're following, Nancy Pelosi's planned trip to Taiwan. If she goes, as you know, it will be the first time a U.S. Speaker of the House has visited the Asian island nation since 1997. Now, the Chinese government has threatened to retaliate, but what are they planning to do?
So publicly, they haven't had any comment about this, but we know that behind the scenes, she has been urged not to travel to Taiwan at this time. The reason for that is that there are Pentagon officials, there are administration officials who fear that this is just too sensitive of a time for her to go to Taiwan. In the run-up to the Communist Party Congress that's going to be taking place in November, that's where President Xi would sort of cement and extend his rule. And he's on a bit of shaky footing right now. He's having his own struggles with the economy. We know that China struggled mightily with COVID. And so the concern among some administration officials is that if she were to go right now, the Chinese would feel that they needed to respond aggressively, and not that they would target her, but that there would be some kind of show of force, some kind of a military response over Taiwan, perhaps more flyovers, perhaps sending more military assets to the region. And they fear that that's something that could cause a misunderstanding, a miscommunication. And so that's why she's being urged not to go right now. But there are plenty of lawmakers who actually support her inclination to visit Taiwan. They say, look, this is a democratic island that is standing up to communist China, and we need to support them. So this is very much still a work in progress, Jerika.
And what signal does it send, do you think, if she does cancel her trip? Does it show any signs of weakness? Like you said, she has the support of a lot of lawmakers who say you should go.
Well, that is the concern, and certainly Speaker Pelosi generally makes up her own mind about things. At the same time, she is a major ally of this White House, and if it's something that the president himself is urging her not to do, we haven't gotten an indication that the two of them have talked about it, but if she gets signals that he himself doesn't want her to go, she hasn't publicly announced that she is definitively taking this trip, so she could just decide that her plans have changed and perhaps she wants to visit Taiwan later in the year. So all the options are still available to her.
All right, Nancy Cordes reporting with a lawnmower in the background and still getting everything out coherently. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.